Winning in family court isn't just luck, it's a three-legged stool. The first leg is ruthless evidence collection. The second is ironclad self-discipline. The third is an elite brotherhood that knows the playbook. If you bypass any of these and expect the courts to treat you fair just because you're a good dad and you did all the best stuff, and it's just gonna see that, you've already lost. And I don't want you to lose, I want you to win. I'm Steve Maeda. I've been doing this for 19 years, working with men. For 17 of those years, I've had a community of men that wins over and over again in high conflict custody. In a system where everybody says it's impossible to win, we have done the impossible. Now, winning is hard, and for almost 2 decades now, I've had man after man tell me that they want something tangible to help them win. And that's why I made these series of videos for you to learn, so that you could learn how to win in the family court system as a man with all the information necessary for free. Let's get into leg one. You know, I didn't need glasses until I was 47 years old, which is how old I am now. Ruthless evidence collection. The first leg is gonna be evidence. Facts, no feeling, facts that can tell a narrative in your case. These are screenshots, bank statements, who picked the kids up from school, who took them to school, doctor's appointments, who bought the clothes, voice recording and video when it's legal to do so. You need to research that. In many states, certain types of recordings or documenting of evidence could be considered stalking, which in a situation where you're trying to protect yourself for your life, for your kids, you get a misdemeanor or a felony that basically ruins your custody case. Third-party witnesses like coaches or teachers, you need to treat every piece of documented evidence as ammo because it is. Then what you want to do is you want to organize it in a timeline. One of the things that I recommend in actually video 1 of my free 30 days, 30 lesson high conflict custody portal is you get a Google Drive, a Dropbox, start organizing it in files and putting everything in there. That could be financials, that could be photographs, text messages, and so on. And if you're at the very beginning of all of this, or even at the middle or the end, if you're not on something like Talking Parents or Our Family Wizard, this is a communications app. It's going to save your communication, but in a way that courts recognize. Even though you got to pay for the app, I would do it. It's important. Now, whether or not you were the more involved parent or not, like you didn't tuck them in every night because you were at work trying to provide for your family, or you couldn't take them to school or pick them up, you need this whole narrative that you're going to tell and formulate with your case. You need it put in a timeline with factual evidence. Who did what, when, who sent the message, what did it say, and don't try and cut things out or doctor them. We want as much of the raw facts as possible so that then we can build our narrative. Pro tip here, make sure everything is backed up like on a cloud, or you have 2 hard drives. If one of those things goes down, man, you lost a huge amount of evidence. Organizing your evidence, timelining it, having it organized in a way where you could access it easily and you start to know it front and back. This is what's gonna build any narrative you want to play out. So many dads get caught up in a sob story or how they were betrayed or how she's crazy and a narcissist, but they don't understand how to timeline that properly and present it to the court. You have to learn the language of the courts. You have to learn the rules to this game. There are countless dads that lose every single day who had enough evidence to win, but they didn't know how to organize it, so they told the wrong story and they acted inappropriate in court. Their ex or soon-to-be ex mouthed off, started talking trash, they talked trash back, the judge stopped it. And instead of being able to rule fairly in his 20-minute hearing or 15-minute hearing, he errs on the side of caution and goes with a cookie-cutter plan to give everything to the woman. Yes, that's bias. Yes, that sucks. But if you knew the language of the courts, if you knew the rules to the game that you are playing, you could have properly presented your case. So learn how to organize, get it all there. Leg number 2, ironclad emotional discipline. High conflict custody battles are one of the hardest things that you're ever gonna have to deal with emotionally as a man. And if you're thinking this doesn't apply to you because you've won a ton of things in your life and you're the best at everything, you're setting yourself up for a tragedy. The courtroom is a televised broadcast of any dirty laundry that you have. This means that everything's gonna come out. Every button that you have that somebody who you were very close with, close enough with somebody to have a baby with, is gonna be pressing your buttons using a lawyer to do that for her, and it's gonna be in the worst ways. Every text message you send, every email, maybe she recorded you. All of that is gonna be geared and designed into a narrative to basically break you mentally and emotionally, get you to be reactive to a judge so that he or she can't hear your case and just reacts to some decision that you can almost guarantee won't favor you. Any way that you could be baited, your guilt can be leveraged, all of that is gonna come out. Every time you send a bad text, you blow up in front of a teacher, or you get mad at the school because they won't let you into the Wednesday student lunch. Every time something like that happens, just imagine it costs you $2,500. Maybe more than that, most likely more. Or let's say you're going pro se and you don't have a lawyer. Each one of those blowups might make you need to purchase the courtroom transcript. It might delay your case or cause a continuance because, like I said, the judge can't hear the case. See, the family court system is absolutely a business that is there to take your money, unapologetically. And every time you let your emotions to get out of hand, it has an opportunity to charge you more. But in addition to that, it gives you an opportunity to not have your case heard. So here's your daily protocol, and I really need you to pay attention to this because in coaching guys for as long as I have, everybody wants to skip this one too. Get really good at building your ecosystem. What is this? This is 3 to 5 men who you can call daily who have been through this. You're not calling to have a long conversation. You're calling to reset your focus because being able to focus on your case when you're under crazy emotional duress, or you went to go pick up your kids and they're not there, or maybe your kids got into the car and said, "Daddy, why did you hit mommy?" You need to be able to get back to focus. You should be emotionally rocked by all of those things, but you can't afford to be. You also need to learn to reset your nervous system. Now, there's a big difference between coping mechanisms like this and actual long-term solutions. This is just a coping mechanism. It's to help you get through the day. And you need a lot of different coping mechanisms to get through long-term solutions. Start learning different breathing exercises like Wim Hof or my 10 breaths exercise. With the 10 breaths, in under a minute, you can, bam, clock your state back into something a little bit more calm. Get into moving your body. These could be compound movements, doing a set of push-ups, air squats, going to the gym doing real squats. Maybe it's putting a bag of frozen peas on your neck or jumping into an ice bath. Somatic resets to get you out of emotion so that you can focus on what's gonna make you win. What's crazy is you might be doing these things 3, 5, 10, 15 times a day. There's gonna be a point with this where certain things are gonna stop working and you're gonna need to switch it up. But either way, you gotta start getting good at this. You could also do things like putting little notes in your pocket, or maybe you hang up a big sign on your door that says something like the judge isn't granting custody on who hurts more or who's more crazy or who betrayed the other. The judge grants custody on the best interest of the child, and one of the check marks next to that is which parent looks stable enough to raise a happy and healthy child. Every time you lose it up here, you lose years with your child. Leg 3 is your elite brotherhood that knows the playbook. You don't need to be alone. Lone wolves get skinned and the pack hunts. See, every man who enters into a custody battle wants to do it themselves, wants to be alone, and I think that's just a natural part of masculinity. I can do this, this is my family, you don't understand. Or they're being attacked in such a unique way that they could never imagine that they think nobody else could relate with this. You need to be around men who have won, understand your case, who understand where you're at, who understand what you need to file, how you talk to the judge, who understand the different trauma, PTSD, if you need a certain type of therapy for this. You need the man with the game plan of how he stopped parental alienation when he was being falsely accused and had a temporary protective order against him. What's crazy about the custody tragedies men face is they're so common, but we never hear about the solution. We hear a ton online about how people are attacked with it. We hear the horror stories. We hear about how screwed up the courts are. And what's crazy about all of this is that there are solutions. There are men who have won. And somehow that narrative is always kept in the dark. I can tell you from having a community of men that actively have won for 17 years with some of the hardest cases. The courts are definitely getting a lot better for men. I mean, they're still not great. 10, 15 years ago, geez, man. I mean, that's why I made this group. That's why I started doing what I did. The way men fail over and over again in custody is consistent. The mistakes that you're bound to make are very, very preventable. There's tons of different scenarios where this will help. Where we see this the most is helping guys out with choosing the right attorney or firing an attorney, being able to look at their case to realize if there's loopholes like in a geographic restriction, or maybe their state law conflicts with the county law. Building a brotherhood of men that can help you in this is what makes the impossible, like a dad getting custody in this modern world. It makes it possible. There's a couple things that I think are non-negotiables when it comes to your brotherhood. You can't rely on a victim mentality to be part of your solution. If you're a dad going through this, you're victimized in some ways. I get it. You're gonna feel that way, you're gonna need to complain about it. You need to get it off your chest, it's necessary. But you also need to distinguish that that is not the solution. The solution absolutely has to do with you doing everything you can legally to win your case, in tandem rebuilding your life so that you can move on to a great life. You also need strict confidentiality. In my upper tier group, if anybody maliciously shares anything from the group, they get mad at another member, they try and retaliate with some sort of gossip, they will receive a lifetime ban from all of my services. Wherever, however I run into them, no matter how much money they have, if they ask me for help, I have to deny them. In my upper tier community that I've had for over 17 years, there have been 2,500 men through that. 3 have broken confidentiality on this level and they received a lifetime ban. And I will honor that. They will never be included in any of my organizations again. There needs to be something consistent and active of where you guys meet up, interact, have an event, whatever it is. Just remember, we're men fighting for our fatherhood. Take it seriously, there's strength in it. There's so much power when you get guys together. And in a custody battle, it's what gets guys to win. I always tell guys, you got one lawyer and then you have a brotherhood of paralegals. Or if you're going in pro se, you're going in yourself, and you got 3 to 10 guys backing you up who know your case, understand you, understand your emotions, and are able to see clearly while you're trying to navigate a high stress situation with somebody who is trying to attack you. I gotta go off script here for a second. So guys come into high conflict custody battles and they're just decimated for all sorts of different reasons. They're ashamed of it. You don't need to be ashamed, man. You're losing your family. You're losing your connection with your child. And so many of the times they have the ability to win if they just had the proper guidance with it. You also need to understand that this process is so long and so difficult. And at any moment you can lose and you can lose everything. Yes, the courts are biased. And in the time of your case, we're not going to be able to change how legislature rewrites the laws and how judges think. Afterwards, we can talk all we want about changing the system, causing a revolution, burning it all down, whatever it is. But you got to focus and fight for your child. I know you don't believe me, but the courts are better now than they've ever been. You have more of a chance to get 50-50 or custody. You have more of a chance to not get screwed. But if you do nothing and you get too emotional, you're guaranteed to be screwed. In custody, even when we win, we always lose a little bit of something. And so we want to maximize our chances as much as possible to win as much as we can and lose as little as possible. Okay, I don't know if that was good. Back to the old man glasses. Let's go over some pitfalls and some course corrections here. If you lose focus on evidence, you get lazy with it, you've basically handed her narrative over to the judge, and her narrative hates you. You probably get this. Just think your only way to construct an argument is through facts, through evidence. Even if you think those facts go against you, we need to start with the truth and the reality of those so we can construct a narrative that works in your favor to show that you're a good dad. Let's say you can't control your emotions and you blow up in court or in front of an important witness like a doctor or a teacher. You've now handed over evidence that confirms her narrative of you being a dangerous dad. This is how you lose custody. This is how men get temporary protective orders put on them or permanent protective orders. Just know with things like that, restraining orders, protective orders, they need 51%. That means the judge or somebody in law enforcement needs to think that it is possible that those things could happen and it's not disproven that they didn't happen. And if you get a protective order, you lost your custody case. If you don't have other men around you, you're trying to reinvent the wheel by yourself. You disempower yourself in almost every way, emotionally, mentally, legally. And without a brotherhood, it's too easy to lose vision and forget that it's possible for you to win. You need all 3 of those legs to win. If one goes out, everything collapses. As you may know by now, I live for this. I live for teaching guys how to better their lives in many of the modern males' tragedies. YouTube is a great teaching platform, but in order to get into the algorithm, you have to hit within what people are searching for. The details of a custody battle aren't necessarily things that you might know about. Like for instance, the red flags of an attorney or hiring an attorney or interviewing an attorney or questions to interview an attorney. These are all super, super important things in a custody battle, but there's nobody searching for those. So I made a free 30 lessons in 30 days video course that helps you out with all sorts of those different things. Each video is like 10, 15 minutes long. It's a lot of content. It's better than any paid product out there and it's for free. There's a link down below where you can sign up for it. You get emailed every morning. It's good stuff. And if you're a dad that's in a high conflict custody battle and you're looking at how to win it, the magic algorithm of YouTube suggests this video right here. All right, stay strong, dads. We'll see you on the next one.